Welcome, everybody, to another episode of IncCast. Brand new live this week, broadcasting live here at the Walker Design Studios, the official home for Fanboys Incorporated. And sitting across from me is Mr. Joe Nub.
Hello! Sitting across from me is Dreamweaver. Whoa, Dreamweaver.
I think that joke is a little old now.
But we haven't done that one in a while.
Well, Darkwing Duck. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Today's
Dishwasher.
IncCast is brought to you by the Comic Depot, just inside Saratoga Springs at 514 Broadway to meet all your fanboying needs. They've been our sponsor from pretty much day one. So, and it's being broadcasted live right there.
And
Right from behind the counter with Mr. Chris Kaminsky, the pusher.
And today's IncCast is also brought to you by the letter M.
Really? What's your favorite M word?
I don't know.
Mother. Oh, sorry.
No, I don't
Do you
have
have
one.
a favorite M word?
So what's going on with you, pal?
Marvel. Marvel is my
There you
favorite
go.
M word.
You're hungover today. Let's just
I'm
get it
tired.
out there.
I'm not hungover.
You're groggy.
I'm not groggy. I'm just tired.
Because you were busy last night. Getting busy. Our listeners want to know who you hooked up with last night, DW. Male or female, yes or no? Don't dodge the
decide.
question.
I am dodging it. Goodbye. Anyway, a lot of news going on. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week, next few weeks. I do want to give a shout out for tomorrow's event of the month, August 28th, Kirby Day at Schmaltz Brewery down at Clifton Park, New York. Celebrating Kirby's birthday.
Yep. Jack the King Kirby's birthday.
Yes, that's right. If you listen to our live broadcast on Saturday, how could we forget about Depot Day?
Depot Day. That was
This
a lot of
past
fun.
Saturday. If you want to check it out over on our YouTube page.
Got some sweet Transformers down there.
Yes, I know. You'll see a video of the back of myself and Joe Nub's head. It's a little weird where to put the video camera, but you'll see Paul Harding there as he stepped in a few times talking about Kirby Day and the events that are going on there. Joe's favorite part is that he gets to eat a piece of cake. I am sure he's going to try to go for two because it says you're only allowed one. I think Joe's going to break that barrier and go for two.
That's right. Not only because I'm a chunker, but also because I like to break the rules.
Of course.
I'm a bad boy. It's like wolfing down.
But
cake,
anyway,
looking tough.
Anyway, Paul is the creator of the label, the design. He did a custom label for the beer that Schmaltz Brewery is brewing. They have a special brew just for that event, Kirby Ale.
Yep.
Check that out. You'll see some of the images also on our Facebook page. And on that video, we saw the bottles for the first time. They look really cool. Yeah, the labels look really cool.
Yep.
Only available that day. Case sales portion of the proceeds, pretty much almost all the proceeds from what Paul was saying, go to the Hero Initiative. Awesome organization. Check that out. Tomorrow, 4 to 8. Guests, obviously, Paul Harding, Ron Mars, Nicole Jelinek, Tom Rainey, a bunch of others. It's going to be a good time just to socialize, and we will be down there. I won't know until last minute to see if I can get down there. Work schedule is getting a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
Con season just started for us, so I got a lot of background preparation going on. But it's a great event, so if you live in the upstate New York area, check out Schmaltz Brewery, Kirby Day, Clifton Park, New York. You'll be there. I know you'll be boozing it up.
Yep, I'll be down there.
Mixing beer with cake.
I know, right? Two great tastes that don't taste great together.
So what would you do? Would you drink the beer first or the cake?
I would probably do a beer base, have a couple bites of cake.
Okay. You clean your palate with a little glass of water or something. Excuse me, you got any milk?
I'll use
milk.
I'll use the nothing chases beer better than milk.
You're not supposed to mix. That's what they tell you. You can't mix. You drink beer, no liquor. What is it? Liquor
Before beer, you're in the clear.
Right.
Beer before liquor, never sicker.
Okay.
Come on, that's an oldie.
Yeah, I mix though, and it doesn't bother me.
Right.
So
you got a rot gut stomach.
Yeah, I do, and I can't drink beer anyway. So
that's right.
But
cool.
Some people have asked on our Facebook page if they were taking orders, and I don't believe that they can ship, and I don't know the rules of shipping alcohol across state lines.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can
like
either.
The U.S. Post Office,
right.
like you straight up cannot send alcohol.
We're gonna be moonshining that Kirby Ale across country.
eBay and some moonshine.
Yeah, put it in the back of our truck, take a road trip. It's Dukes of Hazzards. There you go.
That's right.
Get the General Lee out. We'll plaster it with Fanboys Inc. logos.
No harm.
But anyway, we got some cool news coming up.
It's all you ever saw. Been in trouble with the law since
all
the day
right.
was born.
Cool news.
Straightening the curves.
Stop.
Sorry. I love that intro.
That's great.
Is that Chris Christopherson?
That might be.
He was
That
in
might be Chris.
Blade.
Yeah. Well, he's been in many things.
Yeah, but he was in Blade specifically, and
Yes,
you
yes.
love Blade.
Yes, I do. I like a Whistler.
Yeah, Whistler's
Yes,
character.
He was awesome.
Yep.
And his
Who
daughter.
did have
his daughter was hot too.
She was in the movie?
Yeah, Jessica Biel was.
I never saw the third one.
Oh,
Never
really?
saw the second or the third one. Yeah.
You could bounce a quarter off her ass and get 50 cents back. Yeah.
Whistler, he also had an action figure, the Blade figure. Blade had action figures from Toy Biz in 1998 or 99. They were nice figures.
And they were based obviously from the movie, not from the comic.
Correct.
Version, right?
From the first movie.
I don't believe Whistler was ever in the comics.
No.
I think he was just for the movie.
Right.
I could be wrong. I don't think
you know
Blade ever.
You know what this movie needs?
A Whistler.
an
old
aged country singer.
Yes. I'll have to check to see if they put him in after the comics,
right,
or after the movie to put him in the character. I know that sometimes happens.
Oh, right. They'll put him, kind of like Agent Coulson. All of a sudden, he's in the comics now.
Right.
Yeah.
And while the other Shield agents are going to be making their way in the new Shield comic from the TV show.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool.
I wonder how they're going to handle.
Not that I want to see
Sky.
Yeah, like I want to see Sky in a comic.
That boring.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of Sky.
Maybe Playboy. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Oh boy.
But anyway, speaking of TV, awesome news. Now, this has been going on for the last couple of years since if you're a fan of pop culture and fun.
Which we are.
We are. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Right? The Community TV show.
Oh, the TV show Community, yeah.
And I love that show. And I got on it late after I think I pretty much canceled.
Yeah.
But I started watching it, and it was awesome. And there was some posts out that in the image of Donald Glover wearing a Spidey shirt.
Yep.
In one of the scenes, and everybody's like, "Oh, he would make a great Miles Morales in a live action."
He himself has expressed interest in wanting to play.
He's been his number one superhero since he was a kid.
Yep.
So he finally got his wish. He's the voice
That's right.
of Miles Morales in the new Disney DX or XD. DX or XD? XD cartoons by Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors, which premieres this Sunday at 9 a.m.
Now, is that going to be a brand new cartoon, or is it just going to be in an episode of Ultimate Spider-Man?
This episode airs this Sunday. You'll see in a little bit after this podcast an actual video clip from the show of him, Peter, and Miles together, and it's Donald Glover's voice.
Cool.
The Spider-Verse series arc starts later this year.
In the cartoon show,
yes,
to mirror its run in the comic books as well.
I think it's called Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors, so I think it's separate from Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, that could just be
because I know they're doing a toy line on it.
Well, they've also done this in the past with cartoon shows, where they'll just have like Transformers Beast Machines. It used to just be Beast Machines, and then all of a sudden it was in the second half. Yeah, it was Beast Machines Battle for the Spark. And I think maybe even Spider-Man cartoon show in the 90s might have had like a tagline on it at one point.
So maybe it's a 6-episode arc
could be
of Ultimate Spider-Man called the Spider-Verse.
Well, regardless, that is cool. Donald Glover, love him in Community.
Congrats, man. And
yeah, that is cool.
This goes to show that, you know what, we've seen this with Vin Diesel, and I know we've had this discussion in the past before, saying that actors have gone to studios to pitch a role instead of having their agents or the studios come to them. But it seems more prevalent now.
Right.
Vin Diesel, prime case right there, going in for Groot.
Right. But also, I think it's because the animated feature films, animation is so much larger and more prevalent, in society than it was.
So Donald Glover expressing his what do I want to say?
His
interest in doing that, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. So I don't know if his agent or himself kept pushing the fact.
Right.
But that's cool. I mean, granted, it's not on the big screen. That doesn't mean it's nothing less. I mean, the small screen for Marvel through Disney has been great.
And just thinking,
they do great with those series.
In another several years, once Sony reboots the Spider-Man franchise again, we can have Donald Glover step in as Miles Morales' character, which is cool. Speaking of Disney XD as well, Star Wars Rebels. Don't forget that animated series will be starting in October. So very excited for this show.
I don't
Disney,
know why.
Star Wars, they
excited.
keep giving us little clips of the show. So head on over.
The animation looks great.
It does, man. Head on over to StarWars.com. Check out some of those animated series clips. It looks great. I can't wait for it. I love the fact that we're seeing stormtroopers, TIE fighters. It's cool.
I don't know if I'm Star Wars out.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, you're a true diehard Star Wars fan.
Right.
How do you feel? I mean, it's everywhere now.
So excited.
I don't know.
It's not really everywhere, though. I mean,
I think it's more prevalent now than obviously we are going to have 3 movies in 3 years in a row
not
coming
really.
out.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, think
I don't know.
back to
Maybe it's because we're
2005.
researching it though. But what I'm saying is we're in the field. We're researching. I just feel Star Wars out with all the news, all the clips that we put up, all the pictures, the new Stormtroopers helmets.
Right.
Those look
pretty
cool. Those cool.
Yep.
More goddamn money coming out of my pocket to add to my Star Wars
Yeah, right.
my Troopers collection.
Yep. You just wait, Mister.
The animated series. I don't know if I'm Star Wars. I will watch it, but I'm not like, oh yeah, I gotta see it. I don't know.
See, because for me, I'm obviously, I'm such a diehard Clone Wars fan, and that 6th season, which is a Netflix exclusive,
that was great.
It was good. Yep. But it also left me like wanting more. I felt there were still story arcs and plot threads that were left unresolved, and I am hoping that Rebels is going to deal with some of those. Now, I do know in one of the clips we saw one of the Jedis, Lumiara Unduli. I know it's a mouthful, people. One of the Jedis who was featured in Clone Wars cartoon. I think it one little teaser, shows our main characters in Star Wars Rebel show saying, "Oh, the Imperials have her. We have to rescue her." So I'm like, "Oh, cool. Maybe we'll get something." And we'll get a little something from Clone Wars, something to wrap up some of the storylines in Clone Wars. That'd be great to see. Smart move. If so, really looking forward to this cartoon show.
Okay,
that's it.
Now, when does this cartoon show take place within the Star Wars universe?
After Clone Wars, but before, after Episode 3, but before Episode 4, A New Hope.
Could we see?
I think so.
Would it be one of those in Smallville, like when they said you couldn't be in a cape, you're not going to see him fly, but at the end you see at the season finale is the red cape. Are we going to see maybe the dark or the close up of the mask or just his voice fading into black?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be one of the main characters, but I think you are missing a great opportunity if you did not have Darth Vader in animated form, at least in one episode or a season finale. I think we've even talked about this before.
Yeah, I think we have.
Kind of do it a la S.H.I.E.L.D., where Nick Fury shows up just a little bit, just a little bit to whet your palate, whet your appetite, get you one more.
Have we ever seen Darth Vader in an animated version?
I am trying to think. Full. I think in the Clone Wars cartoon they may have, the Jedi went on some spiritual quest. Yoda's looking into the future, so I think sort of in a smoky mist,
a flash forward kind
of
thing.
Like a smoky mist, you get sort of the shape of the helmet and dark breathing. But no, we've never. Let me think. I don't think so. We've never seen Darth Vader.
Now, wouldn't that be? Now, I'm starting to think, and this just popped into my head, like Dark Horse and the pocket novels throughout the years since the original 3 came out. Stories on top of stories. Kids, Han and Leia have kids, and
Chewie's dead.
And there's young Jedi, and I'm wondering if they're gonna think about setting up now their animated universe the same way. Saying, okay, now we can see Darth Vader in between these movies, seeing what's going on, or seeing his journey, and start pulling some more of those and doing what Dark Horse has done for years.
Right.
I'm wondering if that's the case, what they're going to do every couple of years.
Yeah, the potential to do it, especially because
I love those
Disney has said we're getting, do not look at this old expanded universe stuff as canon. That's all, it's gone.
It's all fodder.
We're ignoring it, yeah.
Guys, we are live tweeting as well. You can tweet us at Fanboys Inc. And as I say this, we got some news. And,
what do we got?
And I want to give a quick shout out to Josh Bodwell. If you've been watching A&E, brand new show, Epic Inc. On A&E, he was just on last week on I Sell Comics with Mike and Ming. He just tweeted me.
Oh, nice.
I tweeted him saying, I love the show. It's a pop culture tattoo shop. And Josh is, we talked about this off pod. Josh loves Star Wars. If he could draw Star Wars all day or tattoo Star Wars all day long, he would.
Yep.
I tweeted him out just saying, you know what, love the show. You guys are great. Can't wait for more. See you in New York City Comic Con. Josh just tweeted back saying, thanks, man. Would love to chat in the podcast before that as well. We'll be in touch.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very cool. Thanks, Josh.
Also, you will, since we're on that topic, we are working with our good friends of the family, Unit 5 Skip Winter, to do a New York City Comic Con premiere of their live-action short based on Drift, produced by our good friend Brian Comic Head Feraldo, and I will be live podcasting at the venue. Venue is still need to be found, but our special guest is going to be Epic Inc.'s Josh Bodwell.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's gonna be really cool, guys.
Very nice, man.
And we'll get Josh on before the show, before New York City Comic Con, and talk with him. I guess a fellow tattoo owner. I don't know if you own tattoos.
I know. I'm like,
I'm not a tattooist.
Are you considering the ink on your arm an ownership, like a possession?
It's mine. It is mine.
True, but it's not like you're like.
So if I cut my arm off and somebody takes it, is it theirs?
Well, that's my point. Like if you go to
a tattoo enthusiast, let's put it that way.
Thank you, because I don't think you can count arms and legs as
ownership.
Yeah.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. I think
Right.
I possess my arms.
But I think that is you. That really is.
It's me. Well, if somebody cuts it off and then puts it at the collector,
now
isn't it his?
Now
it's his tattoo.
Yeah, now you can look at it differently.
But having Josh on would be cool. I did watch the first episode of Epic Inc. Check that out. It's really cool. The guys in the shop are awesome. They all do pop culture stuff. They all have their own
That's
forte.
very cool.
And it's all pop culture, and it's Area 51 tattoos. It's awesome. I think that's really cool. And it's kind of cool that a shop can focus just on pop culture. You can do portraits. You can do, obviously, anime, comic book characters.
Right.
But that, once again, goes to show you the geek renaissance is here, that a tattoo shop, that's all they do,
Right.
and they can make money and
Right.
do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That means the popularity of the pop culture in this genre has grown so much.
Now, where are they based out of?
I can't remember. I want to say Oregon.
Okay.
I think it's Oregon. I'm not 100% sure.
Right on.
But that's really cool. So Josh Bodwell, man, thanks, man. If you're listening, we'll definitely be in touch. If you guys have any questions, tweet us, Fanboys Inc. If you or you want to answer anything, what do you guys think of Donald Glover finally being Miles Morales? I think that's awesome. In other actor news, Jack Huston, or Houston, I guess you would. It's not spelled the Houston way. Is in the lead, running for Doc Strange. If you're familiar with Boardwalk Empire,
Yep.
Awesome show.
Yep.
He plays a disfigured person, and he's in the lead. Now, there's 4 other, obviously, in the running, but it seems to be that he may be in the lead for that. I don't know. I mean, he looks the part right off the bat. He was also rumored to be in the running for Star-Lord.
Really?
In the very beginning, he was one of the actors possibly chosen as the 3 before Chris Pratt to be Star-Lord.
Now, I'm glad they didn't choose him for Star-Lord, but I could see him as Doc Strange. I watched the first 2 seasons of Boardwalk Empire.
I've only watched a couple episodes. I got into it. I just don't have time to watch
right.
I
got to know his character. I got to know his character in the show, and I liked his character very much. He played sort of a more quiet, reserved character. You could tell that this is a guy who went through a lot and had, had a lot on his mind almost. So in that regard, I could definitely see him as a more, mature character like Stephen Strange.
Right.
Cool. Very cool.
Strong enough, you think?
What's that?
Strong enough, his presence?
I think so.
Okay. Because I think no matter what happens with the rumors of Robert Downey possibly going, he does want to do Iron Man 4, but then there's money issues. I did hear that they will not give him rights or a percentage like he did for Avengers, where he took the percentage and waived his pay. They will not do that. Now, that's coming from inside the house from our good friend Jarvis, who, if you saw some pictures this weekend, nice big stash direct from New York City's Marvel Studios offices. Thanks, Jarvis, so much again for all that. The fans will be thanking you as we give out some of the stuff. I love my Groot head.
Where's the rest?
The stash is in the stash room.
There's a whole stash room now?
It's getting that way.
Wow.
It's getting that way. But yeah, he gave us some other tidbit information about stuff like that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
To replace. This is how I think we were kind of in agreement. You're going to lose Iron Man, you're going to lose Tony Stark or Robert Downey. You need somebody else to fill those shoes as far as kind of wrapping the universe together and keeping the team together. Doc Strange would be the next choice, I would think.
Yeah, but we've talked about this before. First off, you have Captain America. You have
not anymore. You won't.
Okay, so maybe not. Well, you got Nick Fury. I mean, Sam Jackson's character does well enough getting around, keeping the
but he's in hiding right now. He's in hiding right now.
He can come out of hiding.
True, but I think as a superhero, I think Doc Strange, if they're going to use him like I think they're going to take over Robert Downey's role, he's got to have a strong presence. He's got to, and I think any of the actors, I think there was one, Leto. Leto doesn't do it for me.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, he doesn't do it for me.
He's too pretty.
Yeah. And I hope we get to see the darker side of Doc Strange. Like I said, I hope it's a horror, not a full-blown horror.
Right, but
I
want to feel creeped out.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, definitely. There's so much shit you could do with
that.
Yeah.
So much potential.
Now, could it be borderline not kid-friendly?
I don't know if
The
they want.
movie we want, I don't think would necessarily be young teens, like
Yeah,
a 10 to 12-year-old kid movie.
well, that's it. I mean, they could do. Yeah, but look at some of the other Marvel movies. Aren't they all PG-13?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And people have said, well, I can't bring my kid to this. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't know what to tell you.
Like, I don't know.
I still see 5-year-olds at a midnight showing.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But I think that would be really cool. The special effects, the dark side. I mean, just seeing in limbo or going into the other dimensions. How cool would that be?
I want the other dimension. Like I want the you remember how they used to like draw it back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
It's all warped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got weird
like
wavy
you're on
lines
LSD.
and
You're like on LSD.
and a floating eyeball.
Are we gonna hear Jim Morrison Doors in the background?
You are, man. You are. That's gonna make the movie. But I definitely want to see the mindless ones. I want those big, lumpy creatures with just the one eye. Now,
mindless ones first in Doc Strange or Thor?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. Maybe they're
or Mole Man. Was it in the Fantastic Four? Maybe.
Maybe I don't know.
That would be cool.
Let's say it was. All right. I'll say that the first time that a mindless one showed up, it was in maybe like a Journey into Mystery or something. It was I'll say it was in the Doc Strange story. You want to say it was in? And let's look it up. We'll continue on and we'll look it up and we'll see what happens.
But I'm excited to. No matter what, I hope it's a really dark, horrific, horror genre type movie. And it seems that they will be going in that way. They've been taking all the genres, and we talked about this before. The last thing is the romantic comedy that they haven't touched yet. So
Janet Van Dyne Hank Pym story.
That's going to go straight to TV. That's a lifetime. Yeah, definitely.
Meredith Baxter is Janet Van Dyne in I Know I'm Stronger Than This. Coming soon to Lifetime Original Television.
No, we know that August 28th tomorrow is Kirby Day, and I was talking with Mr. Paul Harding. He'll be doing a special commission for me. And it got me thinking, we've talked about events in comics, what our favorite ones as kids, what our favorite ones are as now. Let's concentrate on Kirby a little bit. Do you know what maybe the first book that you read
with Jack Kirby?
That you saw Kirby's art, I mean, that it stands out today?
No, not really. To be quite honest, like I really didn't have all that much experience with Jack Kirby's work. I mean, yeah, I knew who he was just because he's Jack Kirby. And,
right.
I'm sure I read like reprint books of Jack Kirby, backup stories if they reprinted them in another comic book. But
so the first time it wasn't like, oh my God, I picked up this Captain America and it was Kirby.
Right, exactly. Nothing like that. No,
see, for me
it was more like I picked up this first book and it had John Burns artwork in it. You know what I mean?
Okay. For me, that was what it was. For me, the very first book I ever read was Mike Commandi. Yeah, Mike Commandi, which I have right here, which I've been rereading this week, actually, the series. I mean, it is Kirby art, obviously, but the storyline and everything was really cool. And it was literally the very first comic that I ever read as a kid was that series.
It was your uncle's collection.
My uncle's collection. I want to say he was even on Nick Fury in the Howling Commandos, Sergeant Fury in the Howling Commandos, possibly.
Maybe. Don't quote me.
Because my uncle also collected those. And those were kind of cool war stories.
Okay.
But, to this day, we're talking 1976 is the first time 1975 is the first time I read a comic, and I have the actual collection from then in my collection now, and I still read it. And it's still influential as far as art. Sometimes I'll even go back and reference some of the stuff that he's done.
Right.
I think it's awesome. And having art just go through the ages and having how many artists have gone through. The Kirby dot is everywhere. I mean, we see Kirby Crackle everywhere. There's a band whose their name is Kirby Crackle, and they use it on.
Didn't they play live at our?
They did.
That's right. Anniversary show.
That's right.
Hells yeah.
Our first year anniversary show.
First year anniversary.
Because did you know that we've been so busy that last Wednesday was our second year anniversary of Fanboys Incorporated?
No, we're older than 2 years. No, we started in 2012. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Happy birthday to us.
Yes, we kind of forgot about it. Didn't even do a show about it.
I know. Also, I got some. I have the answer to our question.
Was it Journey into Mystery?
It was a Strange Tales issue 127
with fantastic. Well,
with the FF, but the backup story was Stan Lee, Steve Ditko doing the penciling chores, and first appearance of the mindless ones was a Doc Strange tale.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Very nice.
There you go.
How much is that going for?
No idea. Let's assume $20 or higher.
Or $20 or higher.
Near mint condition copy. So you want the if you guys are looking for the first appearance of the mindless ones, go and pick up Strange Tales number. What did I just say? 127. There you go, true listeners.
Now, and since we're on the topic of comics, and it is New Comic Book Day, do you remember the first comic you read? Now, I think we talked about this a little bit. You were sick or something. Mom brought you a G.I. Joe or something.
Well, I remember reading, like we would go on camping trips or something like that, and you go to the camping store. Because when we went camping with my family, it was like you're going to a campground, not just camping in the woods. Anyways, man, I would read like Heathcliff. I was reading the Star imprint, which was the kiddie imprint for Marvel Comics. So I was reading like Ewoks comics and Heathcliff and some G.I. Joe, but the first, like, what I felt was a mature comic book was Uncanny X-Men 242. It was a giant-sized issue or double-sized issue, and it was during Inferno, featuring the awesome artwork of Mark Silvestri. And I remember as a kid, I was 13 at the time. It was 1989, so I was 12 years old. Flipped open the first page, you get Wolverine and Jean Grey, like, boom, splash page, them making out, sucking face hard, and I was just like, whoa.
Nice.
And obviously, since it was Inferno going on, everybody's dark and evil.
And that's your favorite. That was one of your favorite series or events. Would we call it an event?
Inferno was a favorite, yeah. And I think probably part of it just because I imprinted on that.
Right.
Like when a new baby duckling comes out and
the first thing they imprint.
Yeah, exactly.
A bird or any little animal.
Funny enough, man, I was following an auction last night on eBay. Uncanny X-Men, number 229. Page 19, sold on eBay. It was Mark Silvestri work, sold for over $2,000. When I was watching the auction, it was
What's important about that book?
When I was watching the auction, it was around $850, and I was seriously thinking about bidding on that. And I'm like, I would love to have a page from Mark Silvestri during this classic run on Uncanny X-Men. It got a lot of action.
What the page have on it?
It was X-Men versus the Reavers, who were the cybernetic assassins there. Yep.
I have that in my collection.
Such a cool freaking page. It had Rogue, Havoc, Colossus is just busting these guys up. Sold for like $2,200.
Nice.
Yeah, quite impressive.
$3.2 million.
For real.
Action Comics #1, baby.
Yeah. And that's only because I lost that Action Comics #1 auction.
Now, I want to know where the other 33 copies are.
I offered him $50, but he kindly declined.
I'm sure he did. I want to know where the other 33 are in existence.
Of Action Comics #1?
I know. Supposedly. That's cataloged. Now, who knows? Could we see another one in a cedar box again? I mean,
I know.
The chances are getting far slimmer every year, but there's got to be an Amazing Spider-Man, or what is it?
Right, or maybe there's a Detective Comics number 27 trapped somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still got to be somewhere in your grandparents, great-great-grandparents' house.
Exactly. You know the crazy thing, man? If somebody was to offer me, do you want Action Comics #1, or would you rather have this Uncanny original page? Like, monetary value aside, like for me, I would go for the original comics page.
Oh, for monetary value aside?
Yeah.
Oh.
If they're like you.
See, I would buy I would take the Action Comics, sell it, and then get my artwork,
and then I'd buy every original page from this damn issue. Yeah. Exactly. But they said you can never sell it. You can just keep it in your collection. Never sell it. Which one would you rather take? For me, it'd be.
For never selling it,
I'd probably
take the page.
I'd have to do the X-Men page. For me, it has more value, more personal value.
I would take the page. Yeah. I mean, if I could sell it, I'd buy the Action one.
Of course.
Or get the Action.
You'd buy comic pages up and down the street with that kind of money.
Thank you, Mr. McAvee. He just was tweeting us saying, "Happy birthday, belated birthday." Thank you, sir. We'll ship you a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's right. Hope it keeps.
Hope it keeps.
You know what, DW, when you just brought up the fact, what was the first comic book that I read, you also brought up something that I jotted down here, just as far as collecting in general, and I think we've had this conversation before, but it's also begs asking again, where do we see ourselves as collectors, 5 years, 10 years? Because you and I, we're getting up there in age. Like, are we still going to be collecting?
Are you saying I can't read anymore? I got glasses?
Or you do have glasses.
Are they going to allow comic books in the nursing home? Is that?
Well, there's that. Like Mr. Cloutier, we don't like you reading those comics. It gets you all wound up.
I'm DW, not Cloutier.
Like 20 years down the road, are we still collecting comics? Am I still collecting?
Are we going to have comics?
That's a question. Hey, that's another question I wrote down. If movies become more profitable and comics become truly obsolete, like, I think there will be fan outrage, but do they owe us anything? As fans, do the comic book companies really owe us anything? Like, if they stopped publishing Marvel comics?
Well, it'll be because of us not buying them.
Could be. Well, that's part of it, like where...
If there's still money to be made, they're going to keep printing books.
Right.
I mean, this has been an ongoing thing when digital came out, going, all right, it's going to kill print. It hasn't. It's been going up a little bit, and I think enhances it.
But case in point, I'm a huge comic collector, but I don't really read. I don't consider myself like that. I buy comic books anymore. I buy like 4 titles a month.
I wish I could
maybe.
say that. I mean, I'm
Right.
not buying to collect. I mean, I think back when I was a kid, I was buying to collect,
Right.
and put on the walls. I mean, I have some up here, but what would I be doing in 20 years? If there's still comics, I'd probably still be buying them. Would
Yeah.
I buy as many as I have now, buy a week now? I don't know. Depends on if we're going to be doing this podcast for 20 years
Yeah,
from
right.
now. Welcome to Geriatric Cast.
That's right.
2 grumpy old men.
We're doing a Kickstarter.
GrumpyOldMen.com.
Kickstarter for new dentures for
Yeah, right.
DW Dye.
It depends.
It depends on what.
In 20 years, I don't know. Well, we talked about this in 20 years. I don't think they're going to be making any more superhero movies because it killed it.
Right.
I mean,
Maybe not, or maybe at least, like I think we talked about with Skip. Maybe there won't be 30 coming out every 3 years. But maybe it'll be like one a year or one every couple of years.
I could see a 5 to 6 year lull. After it reaches its peak, it just dies.
Right.
And then if we're alive long enough, we're gonna see the remake of Avengers.
Right.
The 50th remake of the Hulk.
Right.
I mean,
it's the 17th reboot of Spider-Man.
It's just a cycle.
Right.
How many did you say?
50th, 15th, 17th?
You're giving them too much. It's 100. It's 100.
Yeah, right.
It's already going in its almost.
Every movie.
It might almost possibly going in its 3rd reboot. I'm like, come on.
Every Spider-Man movie is going to be a reboot.
Of a reboot of a reboot.
And a retelling of his origin every single time.
I want a studio with the balls to say Spider-Man reboot in the title.
Yeah, right.
Booties. Well, speaking of that, where you see that possibly Black Cat might get a solo film or a villain, we see the Sinister Six is confirmed to be starting in production. Now they want a female character. Black Cat, Spider-Woman, maybe.
Don't care. Cap 3, we're talking about Cap 3 is going to have a huge cast of superhero characters.
Yeah.
Didn't we hear that? They were talking to Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Saying, played Hawkeye. He's supposed to be
Avengers 3 could see the end of the Star-Spangled Hero.
You mentioned that. He's going to die off in Avengers
3. You heard it here first. Sorry to spoil it for you. Blah, blah, but we kind of knew that was coming anyway. We just didn't know if it was going to be Cap 3 or Avengers 3.
Right, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, they killed him off
Cap
in the
3 comes up first,
be...
right.
Yeah.
Now, would that mean the Winter Soldier would take up the mantle?
Is that it? Sebastian
he's got a
Stan's
9-movie
character?
deal. He's got a 9-movie deal.
Right.
Now, we know that's appearances. Doesn't mean necessarily movies.
Right. But let's see if he has the moxie to play Captain America.
Well, could we see that down the road being with either the Infinity Gauntlet or possibly Civil War down the... I'd like to see them start doing what... is it not Peter? Is it Peter Jackson?
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. I want to see them do 3-parters.
Oh, right.
Why not? Just start doing... Or a 2-parter. Civil War, I think you could do... Okay, if they were gonna do it in a 2-parter. In a single movie, please don't. You're cramming so much crap in there.
And my position on that. I'd rather not see Civil War on the big screen. I just
could be in a cool Netflix. Or if they were smart, they could tie in maybe. Now this would be cool. Really tie in the big screen with the small screen and do a Civil War. You gotta watch Netflix. You gotta watch that series. Then you watch the big story arcs or the big happenings on the big screen.
That would be good, like something like that, yeah, where the movie tied in, kind of like the way that
you use the lesser characters in
Shield.
Netflix, like your Luke Cages, your Daredevils, and get the Marvel Knights theme, the Punisher, whatever.
Yep.
And then the big climactic battle, or we see if Sony does let Marvel take Spider-Man back. That's when you see Peter Parker announcing his identity. Leave all the good stuff for the big screen.
Right.
That would be cool. Then that taking the 2 universes, that would work.
Did they was it there some saying that oh god, what? That the Netflix shows weren't going to be tied into the movie universe?
There was never.
Or am I thinking
you're thinking
the DC stuff.
Okay. DC, yeah. Jeff Johns has stated that the Arrow and Flash will not be tied into the big screen whatsoever.
Very good.
Which leads me to believe that possibly we could see 2 different Flashes. And I really hope they don't do that.
Right. It'll get confusing.
But I think Marvel's already tied it in. We've seen it on ABC, so there you go.
Right.
I mean, so you have ABC, Netflix. Wow, that's huge.
Yep.
That could be huge. And just leave
Marvel
the
Studios, you're doing it right.
Make the big screen the climactic stuff and the people that want to see that stuff. Because Netflix $7.99 a month. You're not going to get so you'll get little teasers. but they want you to go to the theaters for the $12.50 to
Right.
$15.50,
Right.
$15.50 per movie to go in and get their ticket sales.
And that's a good move as well, kind of like in the sense of comic books where, okay, we're going to run this underlying story arc on our Netflix shows and on ABC, but then the big payoff will be on this movie that you have to go to the theater to see how it all culminates.
Yes. I think that would be really cool.
That'd be a good idea.
That way could do it. That way they could do a Civil War story.
Right.
Now, let's backtrack. I feel that doing an Infinity Gauntlet could be running in the same way. Obviously, the series didn't run as long as the Civil War.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of goddamn characters in there.
Well, it was a 6-issue series, and it's still, there was
There's
a lot
of characters in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting in, not to say that you can't put a lot of characters in. Right. Obviously, look at the Teen Avengers, and now look at Justice League, or Batman versus Superman with the characters they got. But there's some really important key things in there, and I think doing it in one movie, you could kill it. I think they should do a two-parter. And I'm surprised they haven't.
If you were to do the Infinity
Gauntlet,
or
do it in a
Civil War,
two-parter.
right? Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And start using your solo movies as the tie-ins.
Well, exactly.
If Captain America is going to stay on after that, use him as a tie-in. Use Iron Man, bring Iron Man back, use him as a tie-in.
Yep.
Obviously, Guardians, use them as a tie-in.
No-brainer.
Now you have your monthly Avengers, and now your tie-ins. And I think that might be how they're thinking this.
Yeah.
And to getting back to your original question, that's why I don't think why we'll always see comic books.
Right.
Because they're going to use those stories, and they're going to use that methodology and do that.
Because a few minutes ago you said, 20 years from now we don't think runs the risk of there being no comic book movies, or at least at the frequency that we're seeing now. So what happens in 20 years if they do kind of peter out, the sales are down, and then people just
start movies or comics?
Well, it's for movies, and then maybe that starts to affect the comic sales. Maybe comic sales start to go down.
Well, we've seen that comic sales.
Right.
Well, we've seen right now that movie sales or movie ticket prices don't increase comic sales.
Right.
Impulse buy, yes, that week or the week after of a showing, yeah, your dealers will get an impulse or get a quick buy, but long term, no. So if the movies peter out, I don't think it's going to affect the comics at all.
Right.
If anything, maybe because there is no movies, nobody can get that stimulation or get their characters. Maybe that could increase a book sale.
Right.
I don't see Captain America. What's going on with Captain America? Let's go pick it up.
Right.
Or there's no more Avengers. Let's go pick it up.
That's a good question. Like if they were to stop making Marvel Legends action figures or Star Wars action figures today, man, that would suck.
Would you still be collecting toys?
Yeah, because honestly, man, like these days, my focus has been so
from
vintage.
The toy aisles. You'd be like, that dirty old man going in there.
No, man, I'm gonna be protesting. I'm gonna have signs. We want Marvel Legends. We want Marvel Legends.
Are you gonna be able to raise that sign in 20 years? Or are you gonna have your hover around?
I'm only gonna be
you can have
57.
You're gonna have your Professor X chair going in.
Now
handicap first, assholes. Let's go. I want that toy first.
If you gave me the choice, like if you said, like, we're gonna give you Professor X's hover chair, but we have to break your legs to do it, like, I'd say no, don't do that.
I was gonna say you would say yes.
I'd say no, don't do that.
Where's this going?
I'd be like, guys, that's really cool, but you're out of your mind. I'm not breaking my legs. Thank you very much. And I would dance out of there.
I don't think that would ever be anybody's choice. Why did you even bring that up?
I got a lot of weird choices today.
I don't think anybody.
Do you want Action Comics #1 or a free copy of?
That's different though.
X-Men #1, 1991.
That's different though. That's not a weird choice. I mean, if there's no monetary value, of course.
Right.
And you're an artist like myself, so I think we appreciate the page more so than not that the book has great art in it. It does, but
man, I gotta say too, there was this great panel on that page. Check it out. Like I said, Uncanny X-Men 229, page 19. If you actually have the comic book, just look at this issue. Look at this page. Man, there's this great shot like at the end where I think one of the Reavers is escaping with his buddy. Pretty Boy grab Bone Crusher, and they're running off. But Colossus is in the background, and he's just like he's pick two of them up, and he's just cracking their heads together. He's just like,
nice.
It's awesome.
Guys, tweet us. Tell us what your first comic was, if you can remember.
Yeah, and tell us, give us your ideas of the collecting industry. Like, where do you see yourselves as collectors down the road? 5, 10,
I know monetarily.
15 years?
Unless you buy stuff that's in the 60s and 50s, and that'll go up. But
right.
Anything after the 90s up is crap. I mean, I don't give a shit if I live forever.
That
shit's going to be worth anything.
But I will
the day I die, when I see Jim Lee's X-Men #1, $500.
We're going to be, yeah. I'm going to be buried with those.
I'm going to go on a campaign and burn as many of those as I can find. I'm just going to buy them all up so that I drive the market up.
Yeah. But no, man, I will say that the movies have certainly helped the aftermarket of the comic industry, and I can speak from experience on that. The
You're
Superior
talking comic
Spider-Man,
sales, not comic book sales.
well, just in the sense like Superior Spider-Man, when that series ended, was around the time that Amazing Spider-Man 2 was in theater.
Mhm.
So I said, you know what? I read this title, it was good, but I'm also trying to.
Didn't make you go to the movie though.
No, but I'm also trying to supplement my toy collecting habit. So I turned around and I sold the whole 31 issue series on eBay, and like I pretty much got my money back, maybe a little bit extra, but I was pleased with that.
And then I went out and bought a toy.
Yeah, I did. And then I went out and bought a Spider-Man toy. And then same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. The movie came out, and I sold my Bendis run on Guardians of the Galaxy, and I made my money back, plus a little extra on that too, which I was pleased about. And that I haven't seen. It feels like I haven't seen it. I might be mistaken in a long time, where people were really like going out and really spending money for back issues.
I don't see like I said, the 50s to 60s. If you have the money, buy those because that's always going up. But nothing,
yes,
nothing.
Of course.
Anything I buy now, 40 years down the road, is not going to be
right.
worth crap.
I'm only saying I simply lucked out by selling it because the popularity was high.
Right. Of course. Right. Now it's a whole series.
Right.
And we're not talking thousands of dollars either.
We're
talking hundreds.
It's really just getting your money back.
Right.
Which, to me, I consider that a win.
Right. Of course. Definitely. I agree with you. I'll probably start collecting some more of the older stuff. Granted, New Mutants 98 does not fall into that run, but I do have that.
That's an exception to the rule. Yep.
There was a lot of those books made, but not a lot in good quality.
Right.
And I got that at the Comic Depot. Thank you, Darren.
Yep.
There's a few that I still want that are within the $300-$400 range. We're gonna start. I'm gonna start back up the FBI's wanted list. Start getting
Iron Man 55. That'd be a good issue. First appearance of Thanos.
Mr. Chris Kaminsky is selling Iron Man #1.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
400.
Like his personal copy, or
around 400, I think.
Right on.
So.
Good.
He wasn't 100% sure. Sorry to call you out there, Mr. Kaminsky, but I was eavesdropping on your conversation. But yeah, the wall books. Speaking of that, the wall books up at the depot, ton of cool stuff. And for me, collecting, as we're talking about collecting, I don't have to buy the $500 or $600 book, even if I had the money. There's some great $25 books, $50 books. I mean, they got a huge run of Deadpool. Yeah, there's got a huge run of Deadpool stuff out there. I saw some CGCs. When I guess this goes into the collecting part. For me, for some reason, I need an high 8s to 9s in a CGC format to buy.
Right.
Now,
it's
a 4 and a 5. The 4 and a 5 in the CGC case. What's the point? I can't even read it.
Like a real golden age book.
You're right.
Something really old and kind of rare.
Right.
Like if it's, I don't know, something 70s, 80s.
I guess maybe that's, I don't want to say snobby of me. I don't know what it is, but
I don't think it's snobby.
I can't buy a 5. I just can't. I want a 9. Even, it's $80. I'm like, I'll spend the $400 to get a 9 if that's what it is.
Right.
That's the point of collecting. I don't want to have a hand-me-down style book.
Although I will say Hulk 181. Ooh, I don't know. If they were offering a 5 and it was CGC, what's the price? Let me know. I'll think about it. But yeah, something like that, man.
I don't know because I want a primo copy of that.
If you're going Hulk 181 and you want a 9 CGC, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
Or I'm raiding your grandmother's basement to see if there's in there.
Where's her cedar trunks?
Yeah, right.
Don't hold out on me.
I prefer to have 180 because that is the real first appearance of Wolverine.
Nah, you want 181.
No, I want them both.
True.
I want them both.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, if you had no monetary limits, what would be the book you'd get?
Oh.
If you were Donald Trump,
right?
What one book would you get? Would you get this $3.2 million Action Comics?
No, because all right, money is no object or whatever. The monetary value doesn't matter. Like which issue would mean the most? Like a Hulk 181 would mean a lot. Giant size X-Men #1 would mean a lot to me. Because that's.
How about X-Men #1?
No, not even. I mean, yeah,
1963.
But again, if the monetary value is really irrelevant, for me it'd be like I have more of a personal connection to giant size X-Men #1 than I do X-Men #1.
Okay. So so you would buy, if you had one, you would buy giant size over X-Men 1.
Yeah, shit. Even Amazing Spider-Man #300, I would choose over Amazing Spider-Man #1. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
And again, this is like these comic books really weren't worth anything besides the personal connection.
Glenn McAvee says his first book was Man-Thing.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting choice.
Huh.
Man-Thing, Swamp-Thing. I like those characters back then.
Yeah.
And when they were kind of the horror, creepy
Yeah.
back then. They're not heroes. They were
Right.
kind of really creepy, weird kind of books back then.
I don't think I've ever really read any Swamp Thing, but I've always, it's always been on.
The Man-Thing I loved.
Man-Thing was
Yeah.
cool. I just liked I liked the fact that he was just kind of that's who came out first, Swamp Thing or Man-Thing? I think it was Swamp Thing.
I believe.
Look it
Let's
up.
find out.
I think we've even done this before.
No, I don't think we've actually got an answer out of this. I'm gonna say Man-Thing.
You think Man-Thing came out first?
I think I'm gonna go with Man-Thing.
All right, let's type up Swamp Thing's first appearance. Swamp Thing.
And what about current collecting? Not even talking about the big books that we're gonna buy. $3.99 price points. I mean, that gets expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
Would you, if you had no monetary limits, would you buy more books?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
would.
mean,
there was actually a comic came out today. It was the Batman Beyond book, but it was like a Mask of the Phantasm, part 1 of 2.
Ooh.
And I was like, ooh, man, like I love Mask of the Phantasm. I love Batman Beyond.
Yeah. Beyond the Mask.
Yeah, right. But I held
and
off.
I'm wondering if that's hurting the industry as well, even though we do see that comic book sales are staying at the level or going up each month.
Right.
They're not going backwards per se. I'd like to know, obviously less books are being sold because I mean just
because it gets expensive.
Right, and inflation wise, obviously they're definitely making more.
Yeah. Wow. I think
it's Man-Thing.
Yeah, Man-Thing technically is the predecessor. Man-Thing came out first, 1971, and
was it his own book or was it in Strange Tales or?
Man-Thing was in his own book.
First appearance?
Hang on a second, let's get back.
I thought it was Strange Tales or like a creepy.
No, it was straight up Man-Thing #1.
Because he's the nexus of the universes. He lives in the swamp in the nexus of the universe.
In the Everglades.
In the Everglades. Very cool.
Whosoever knows fear burns at the touch of Man-Thing.
Huh, interesting. So yeah, Man-Thing. So I was right. Okay. Is it Man-Thing #1? Are you sure?
Yeah, Man-Thing #1. Oh, wait. Hang on here, pal. I'm sorry. You are right. First appearance, Strange Tales #1, 1971.
There you go.
Simply the cover I'm looking at here is
the Man-Thing. Yes, very cool.
How about
very
that?
Cool.
And created by Stanley, Roy Thomas, Jerry Conway, and Gray Morrow.
I would like to see a Man-Thing movie.
They made one in 2005.
I know, but
it was directed DVD. I like that. You've heard my opinion on.
We've seen Swamp Thing too, and the only good thing about that movie was her. What's her name with the big tatas?
I don't even know, but hey, you did see some full frontal nudity in Man-Thing in the first. Like I said, like Man-Thing was the perfect.
It's like the Cabin in the Woods horror movie.
Horror movie. Yeah, I mean, it was so cheesy, but it was.
Have we ever seen a Man-Thing action figure?
Yes, we have. We saw an awesome Man-Thing action figure out of Series 8 of Toy Biz. Came out in maybe 2005, I want to say. Super articulated. Came with a little cool base of him in like a little swamp, and there was even like a little frog hopping off of like a log on the base that he stood on.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was a very nice Man-Thing action figure that came out, and Swamp Thing has had multiple figures through the years. But I will say not
as good as that Swamp
Thing. Not the new 52 DC collectible. That one looks nice.
If I had the wall space or any space, I'd buy that. That thing is pretty.
You got to get that one. Anyways,
Christmas is coming.
Swamp Thing did have a line of toys. He had his own cartoon show too in the late 80s or early 90s.
Swamp Thing?
Yeah. But there were rumors that the Swamp Thing action figure and subsequently his entire toy line was based off of a Swamp Thing action figure that was supposed to be included in Kenner's Superpower toy line.
Oh, okay.
But unfortunately, the line ended before that figure got made, so then they kind of just turned it into a whole toy line.
I wonder if we'll see a hint of Swamp Thing in Constantine. He is very integral in Justice League Dark.
Why not?
And in the comics.
Are we going to see Dead Man in there? Are we going to see?
Are
we going to actually see Dr. Fate? Or are we just going to see the helmet as a nod? Are we going to see Swamp Thing?
Well, I did watch the show.
Oh yeah, what did you think?
And there, right in the first episode, she picks up the helmet. He's like, "No, you're gonna put that down.
No kidding.
You're gonna put that down."
Right.
I can't. I don't want to ruin the premise for you. It does circle around the girl like it did in the movie.
Okay.
She is integral. Oh no. Whoa.
Is that
really?
the Keanu Reeves one, right?
She is integral to the part into the series. Whoa. That's awesome. Speaking of TV series or TV shows, and then we'll go into toy news. Doctor Who premiered Saturday.
Oh yeah.
fucking awesome.
Wow.
It was worth
Pretty
the wait.
awesome.
Peter Capaldi, amazing.
Uh-huh.
The Doctor's back. Awesome. I was kind of hesitant when the first opening scenes. First opening scene, spoiler, sorry, is the giant T-Rex in London destroying things, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" But it was awesome. This train finally he regenerates. It's one way to keep the series going. And if an actor doesn't want to work with them anymore, or they want to continue the story, they just kill the Doctor off, and he regenerates.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't fully finished with his regeneration process, so mentally he wasn't stable. The show was awesome. It was amazing. First episode of the season brought me back to the classic Doctor. He's older, and they make a point of mentioning that in the series. He's older than Matt Smith. He's older than David Tennant, Eric Eccleston. Eric Eccleston, yeah. Yep. And he makes point of that. He's got wrinkles in his face, and the Doctor never was like that.
Because he never
except
like
for the older,
ages or something.
The older Doctors were Tom Baker, and then even the original Doctor was very old.
Uh-huh.
Name escapes me, but it brought back that classic Tom Baker feel, the fun.
The fun, the fro.
Yeah, right. No fro, no. But he makes nods to Tom Baker. He stole a jacket from a homeless guy. He's kind of dark, and they've been kind of going around that path with David Tennant, and now Matt Smith touched on it. But now he's like, clothing raping this bum. He was like, "Give me your jacket. Give me your jacket."
Don't ever use that
clothing
term
raping.
Again. Please don't use that term. It's terrible.
It's a harsh undressing.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Tell it to the judge.
So, but he goes, "I don't know what to wear. Maybe a long scarf."
Oh, okay.
No, that would just be idiotic. Just playing homage to him. Really awesome.
Cool.
Guys, check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I'm sure the BBC will play it.
Yep, Spencer at work raved about the episode.
Awesome.
He loved it. He
awesome.
said there was some interspecies kiss that had some fans up in arms.
Yes, it was
a lizard woman.
It was a woman and woman kiss.
Uh-huh.
They are in what do I want to say? In the past in London, and I forgot the lizard's culture's name. She is married or in love with her so-called servant. In public eye, she serves the madam, but in closed doors they are equals. Very cool, and they're badass. They have the Matrix moment, or I should say the Mission Impossible moment. They're all donned and they're wearing Victorian clothing out, and that's the age that they're in.
Right.
Then they're going on this mission, and they.
I'm sorry,
I'll
let you finish and then I'll go.
Go ahead.
Well, all right, so they're in Victoria era London, but she's a lizard woman, and everybody's cool with it?
Yeah.
Or she's like disguised.
She usually wears a veil, but in this episode, that's one of the things that she was not wearing the veil, but she was working with the police, and they were kind of okay.
Skin? Is she
it's all
green?
scaled. It's all scaled. Oh yeah, it's all scaled.
And everybody's just like, this person's a lizard woman, no big deal.
See, that got me.
Or is there like some kind of like, did she steal Nightcrawler's image inducer and she looks interesting?
No.
Okay.
But in the past, whenever she's out, she wears the veil, so nobody can see her. But this
British, tolerant.
This was kind of the one thing that kind of threw me, that she was never really out in public without the black veil.
Right.
But anyway, they go in on this mission, and they have their Mission Impossible moment, and they come rolling down sideways on like a rope. You ever seen Cirque du Soleil? They come down.
They unravel like a yo-yo.
It's like the Matrix. Dun, 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 and they roll down and they pull out their swords, and they're all decked out in leather. So there's cool action. It was great. I know some people were upset about the Clara, the new companion, like they're over her already. She's the impossible girl. Seems that the going theme for the last few Doctors was that his companion are very integral in what's going on, or if there's a problem in the universe. Amanda Pond, she was the center of a rip in time, and it also happened in her bedroom. Amelia Pond, I should say. Amanda or Amelia? Amelia Pond. Now this is the impossible girl. So there's things going on, and she has to stay with him to find out what's going on. That's getting a little tiring, but overall, the storyline's great.
Cool.
Next week's episode is with exterminate the Daleks. I know people have been complaining where like we've seen too much of the Daleks. These are the first classic villains from Doctor Who.
Right.
They're awesome. Trash cans with like.
Well, that's like a prong.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was a plunger. You literally back in the day, instead of the light in the front, was a plunger, and that was their sensor. It was so cool. And I love the cheesy effects. Even though they've upgraded more,
Right.
it's still cheesy, dude. I mean, but that's what's so cool about it. It's the longest running sci-fi TV show ever.
That's pretty cool.
And that's
It's
cool.
impressive.
So, guys, check that out. I believe every Saturday at 9 o'clock. I don't know how many shows are in this season. Last year was 3. And then that's the problem with Doctor Who.
You told me this, right?
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
6 months off 3, 5 months off a movie, almost a year. I'm like, this sucks.
Right.
But hopefully they'll keep it consistent with Peter Capaldi. Great actor. Good job.
Good.
Toys. Some cool Doctor Who toys that just started coming out as well.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Get out of town.
Get out of town. The Depot's got some the small, like, not pop, the little bobbleheads.
Yeah, the Funko Pop.
But they got they got smaller ones.
Okay.
The Doctor Who toys, I'll have to have you research them because some of the action figures look detailed, but it's weird. The articulation is wah-wah. It's not like a Marvel Legends. It's not like more so smaller than the Select series, but the sculpts are great. And of course, you can get just about every sonic screwdriver that's out there. And those are pretty cool. Every Doctor has a different sonic screwdriver. It kind of represents his personality or whatever.
Or his manhood.
And of course, TARDIS. Gotta have a TARDIS. But I think I might be picking up some of the older stuff. I want some of the dialects. They have like remote control dialects, stuff like that. Some of them are kind of cheesy, but some of the toys are really cool.
Right.
I'll have to check to see if Sideshow's ever done any statues.
I don't know.
Because I think that's such a huge market. I mean, the Whovians are diehard. You want to talk about diehard fans?
Right.
Whovians are diehard. I mean, it's crazy how serious they are with the series. And they each have their own favorite Doctor. Tom Baker seems to be the most favorite of the older ones, and then David Tennant or Matt Smith.
Who's your favorite?
Donald Blake was on our Facebook page the other night. Sorely Thor. Donald Blake mentioned that he didn't like Matt Smith. He loved David Tennant. He had just started recently getting into Doctor Who. I had put out, yay, the Doctor's back. Right now, for me, Tom Baker will always be my Doctor, but really damn close second is David Tennant.
Okay.
Really good. But if this Tom or Capaldi could overrun that. But Tom Baker will always be my favorite.
Right.
That's like you
Special
back in the
place in
day,
your
that comic means more to you than the most expensive one.
Yep,
Tom Baker was what I watched on PBS in the mornings and then NBC early mornings. He will always be my Doctor.
One thing I did notice at the Comic Depot last week or 2 weeks ago, on the wall, he had Darren had 3 copies of Marvel did a Doctor Who series. We had 3 copies of issue number 1, the Tom Baker version.
Yeah. Very nice.
So I was telling
Marvel,
Spencer
right?
at work. Yeah, Marvel did
right.
that. Yep.
Yes, Amy Pond. I keep forgetting. Amelia Pond. It's Amy Pond. Hot redhead.
Oh, yeah?
All his companions are pretty hot.
Right.
Yeah, so it's cool. All right, get into toys news.
Doesn't he sleep with all of them too?
He doesn't sleep with any of them.
He doesn't?
No.
Huh. Because he's a doctor. Hippocratic oath. I don't know what that means.
You know what? Speaking of that, I wonder if there's ever been a porn parody of the Doctor.
Oh, I'm sure there's porn parodies
It's
for
of everything. I wonder.
Have you seen the porn parody for Fanboys Inc.?
Yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah, right. You're talking about it's us. Let's see, toy news. Not really too much toy news going on right now. Spidey and Electro 7-inch Marvel Select figures are it's a 2-pack, going to be a Disney Store exclusive coming soon. What was the put an article out on Fanboys Inc. You can check that out at fanboysinc.com or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fanboys Inc. You can check out the article and the link there. The figures look nice. Electro in his classic yellow and green comic costume.
Who's that?
Electro.
Okay.
And Spidey in his classic red and blue togs. So I think that's for $49.99. Looks pretty good. Also, Matty Collector and Mattel. MattyCollector.com and Mattel get enough subscriptions to go forward with their 2015 Masters of the Universe Classics Club Eternia program, which is kind of nice. What's even nicer about this is that Mattel is letting us know that now, due to this opportunity, they have, due to this subscription, they have the opportunity to release every figure from the vintage line, Princess of Power, the new adventures from He-Man, any character in the mini-comic, any obscure character from the Filmation cartoon, and even including the 2002 cartoon and toy line. So this is nice. Like, Mattel is pretty much saying, like, hey, guys, thanks to you, the fans, in 2015, we're going to be able to...
movie? Could it be
haven't we talked about like a Masters of the Universe
Dolph
movie for you?
Lundgren was going to be He-Man's father.
But there's like, yeah, right. There's even been talks like over the last few years that they're going to be doing a He-Man movie. I think a He-Man movie would make good sense, with the popularity of fantasy-based movies, with the awesome special effects that the movie theaters are able to do, and the fact that toy properties have proved themselves to be viable Hollywood moneymakers. Look at Transformers. Look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Look at G.I. Joe. Look at Battleship. Wait, no, don't look at Battleship. So that's kind of cool that Mattel is able to pretty much give you every He-Man character, every He-Man spin-off character, everything you want of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Princess of Power, going to be able to get it. So that's pretty sweet. Again, though, not too much going on in the toy news in a post-San Diego Comic-Con world. Yeah, toys are getting out there. I'm wondering when the new Transformers Generations figures are going to be hitting the stores. Characters like Windblade, that sweet leader class, Jetfire. Very much looking forward to that figure. I think that's going to be coming out in November. But I'm wanting some more. I want some more Generations deluxe class figures. The more around the $10 price point. Star Wars Rebels Legos are hitting the stores. You can go find those. So, in anticipation of the hot cartoon show coming up this October, you can run out and buy some Star Wars Rebels product now. So there was a Star Wars Rebels book at Walmart the other day. So they're just trying to get these characters in the public eye, get you introduced to them a little early. So that's pretty cool. And
I'm sorry if I didn't hear you. Price point on He-Man?
The He-Man figures through the subscription service, I think they're between like $20 and $30 a pop.
How does this subscription service work, per se?
I think it's like you pay the money up front,
okay.
A few $100s, and then once a month they will ship you figures. They
How
ship
does
you a
that
figure
work
per
for
month.
you as a toy collector?
For me personally,
Does it save you money, or do you like the hunt?
I used to like the hunt. Honestly, I don't make toy runs as often as I do.
Yeah, you do 4 instead of 8 now.
Like I'll only hit 4 stores instead of 8 stores.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, like I used to just drive down to Albany and hit every Toys R Us, every Walmart, Target, anywhere there where
you're getting older.
Toys.
You just answered your own question. What are you going to be doing in 20 years? You're not going to even be toy hunting in 20 years.
I know. Well, honestly, yeah, but part of it too, man. Like I've also shifted my focus to the more vintage stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I'm on eBay more often. And,
Joe Nubb, the new toy hunter.
Yeah, right. Hey, there you go.
Let's talk to Jared.
And man, I got to say thank you to the Comic Depot, to Darren and Chris and the gang there for getting all these. It's been like Comic Depot has been a Shangri-La of vintage toys.
They've been doing a lot of purchasing.
Like a
They've
ton.
been going and they're finding some good stuff. What, 200 long boxes last month?
No kidding.
One purchase.
No kidding.
Incredible. You want some good stuff, guys. This isn't just because they're our sponsors and friends. Wow, since the store has moved, you want wall books, you want old stuff, you want new books,
great toys.
You want dollar books.
Yeah.
Holy crap, he's got a huge stock of stuff.
Yep.
Awesome purchasing. They know what they're looking for.
Yep.
They get it. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's
and
awesome.
we're talking about He-Man toys, talking about new toys. If you want vintage toys, go to the Comic Depot. They have an awesome selection of vintage Masters of the Universe characters. You know what? Talk to them. They might be able to. They might have an extra one of his weapons.
I'm missing one, right? I have one.
You're missing his weapon. You have a.
The crossbow.
Yeah.
Right
now we are looking.
Right?
I think we're looking at a 1986 Grizzlor.
Yes.
Action He-Man action figure, one of Hordak's minions. And
do you know what movie he was in?
The He-Man movie.
The toy made an appearance.
Princess Bride.
Yeah, right on the back shelf.
A couple
of
He-Man figures made. Yep, we're on there. Yep.
And he was one of the more obscure ones.
Kinda.
That was given to me by my good friend Phil. Yep. He was a big He-Man guy.
Didn't you say it was like waiting on the front door or something?
Yeah,
like
it just showed up on the
mailbox
front in a stained glass. Like, remember you could get those kits as kids. You could make your own stained glass. I got that. A He-Man. What do you call it?
You would melt
Trapper Keeper.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that was sitting on my doorstep.
But wait, what was the stained glass? There was a He-Man stained glass?
You could melt it in the kit and put it in your oven or whatever.
Yeah, for our listeners out there, for our younger listeners that might not remember this, and even for our older listeners that might not remember this.
Who had lives.
You would, it was like a tiny little metal frame, and you would put these plastic beads in each little compartment, and the directions would tell you to put white beads over here for this cloud, and put yellow beads in this little circle. Yeah, exactly. You would melt plastic by numbers, and you'd stick it in the oven, Man, you think about like Shrinky Dinks too. Think
Oh
about
my
like
God, yeah, that's right.
think about
Color forms.
how many color or how many dangerous chemical fumes were they exposing us to in the
right?
70s and 80s? I love it.
What happened to color forms?
Yeah, I loved
I
color forms
love
as a
color
kid.
forms.
Yep.
Could that been the change? I think color forms was the start for fatheads
Hey, could be.
because you can repeal and re-stick fatheads
Right.
on the wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's a giant size color forms.
Yep.
I was just speaking of that. I was also when I was reading a Commandi, they had back then the very first fatheads per se. They were color forms.
Oh yeah.
You could peel and stick them off the wall. I saw the advertisement, which
No
is
kidding.
another great thing about looking at the old books.
Yeah,
all
those
these
great
advertisements.
Yep.
But you could get Batman, Neil Adams Batman, a Superman, and put them right on the wall.
No
so
kidding.
I think that's probably where fatheads got their idea from.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool.
Actually, I got a funny little, quick little story about color forms and me and almost killing myself when I was a kid. So me and my mom and my sister were driving to Clemens Market in Pennsylvania. You know, I was probably like, I don't know, 5 maybe at the time, and we're taking a turn to go in the parking lot into the shopping plaza, and the back door flies open, and my color forms. I remember I had like
the wind takes them away.
I had like Muppet movie color forms, and so they go flying out. Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie, the whole gang. Like I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years old. The whole gang goes flying out the car, and I remember I jumped out the car to go after them. And my sister and I were like, oh my God, you know, like I just jumped out of a moving car after my color forms. Because at this point, let's be honest, it was the 80s, it was the early 80s. Nobody wore a seatbelt. You sure as hell didn't wear a seatbelt in the backyard.
Did cars come with them?
If I was 4 or 5 years old, I certainly wasn't in a kid seat. Yeah, I wasn't in a kid seat like
I was jumping up and down on my mother's lap with the windows open.
Exactly. You know, I'm while she's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, those were the days. So too funny, man. Color forms, love them.
I passed the joint over to my mom.
No,
but yeah, the old toys. I mean, as much as technology and everything was going, those were awesome.
Toys in the 80s were the best.
And now what do? I buy them and I don't even touch them. I leave them in the box.
I know.
Speaking of which, if you are in the DC Direct market, 2 new figures just came out. Awesome sculpts on both in these traditional packaging that you've seen in pictures here with the Shazam, DC collectibles. Arsenal and the Red Hood from Red Hood and the Outlaws line is coming out. Very cool.
Yeah, and I have to say,
Arsenal looks sweet.
And at first, I hated the ball cap on the. I'm like, yeah, it just looks stupid.
It looks great.
But actually, seeing the actual figure today, I have to say the sculpting is amazing.
You know what I've seen on ball caps, and maybe that's why you don't like them. They seem, it's like the hat is the afterthought of the sculpt, and it always looks bigger than it should be, and it doesn't fit right for me.
Well, I think
but this one looks nice and. Just like in the combo, it's nice and curved and tight.
It's a tightly sculpted piece, but for me it just threw me off because like, why is a superhero wearing a ball cap?
Oh, that's because he's
because he's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah,
he's hip.
But yeah, that figure did look nice.
I liked it better than the Red Hood one.
The Red Hood did look
good
nice too.
But the articulation and just the style of the Arsenal one was great. $22.99, between $21 to $23.99 is the price point for those.
That's the current price point for all 6-inch figures in our lives.
I might get the Arsenal one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might get the Red Hood too. I don't know. I need more goddamn room.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a nice thing. You know, they have the JPEG.
I don't want I know.
I mean, you can just put a thumbtack in there and hang up on the wall.
I've been holding off poking anything in the walls. But while we're talking about toys, you brought over a nice little collection.
Yep, for our listeners out there, we brought over the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy singular figures.
Rip them open? I want you to build
No way, man.
Build the Groot! Build the Groot!
I had been talking about this.
Groot!
We are Groot. Talked about this over the last couple of pods, but I never actually brought these figures in for DW to slap its eyeballs on, and they look good. They're articulated. They look nice.
Slap eyeballs on anything.
We're doing it now. Slap.
How do you slap eyeballs?
I'm looking at them. I'm using kitschy vernacular for eyeballing these things. So they are nice figures. Super articulated, around the same price point as the 6-inch DC Collectibles figures, $20 to $21.99. Yeah, I think...
I like Rocket, but he looks a little too muscular for me.
Rocket?
Yeah, his chest looks a little too bulky.
I don't know. Good.
I don't know. I mean, he's my favorite out of the collection.
Yeah.
Until I see the Groot. And
just because he's Rocket.
Listeners out there, Joe's going to probably have to go take a bathroom break, and I'm going to rip open all 4 boxes and build the Groot. How pissed would you be?
Yeah. Just let me play with them.
All
right, I'll tell you what. I'll let you tear those open. I want you to open up some of your. You open up that Earth 2 Batman figure. Open that one right now.
Fuck you, go home.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. On a side note, Groot, one of our DYKs last week about Groot, his first appearance. People were complaining that Groot said more than "I am Groot."
Right.
But in his first appearance, he talked like a normal person.
Yeah, he was like
he was also invader. He was an alien invader to take over the Earth, and
he's also pretty stocky too. He wasn't like a long.
Yeah, no, he was like he's like a redwood. He's
big, fat.
He was like a really bad toy. There was no articulation. I think 2 branches, 4 branches, 2 arms, and 2 legs. But he came to Earth to Planet X to think about invading Earth, and poor man was defeated by termites.
Bum, 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 bum. And if I'm not mistaken,
trees' worst enemy, termites.
And I think Groot and a lot of those monsters were like in the original Tales of Suspense comics. And this is like the pre-Marvel superhero.
Yes.
Like this is like right before the superheroes.
So for all you people out there bitching that he said more than 3 words, they did that recently. Within years ago,
2008 when they relaunched.
So he was
he was a chatty Cathy.
He was a chatty Cathy. That's right. He was a weeping willow. Yeah, we need more wall space.
You have the wall space. You just need to start hanging your figures on the wall.
But I'm still waiting. That wall's still supposed to be for the giant TV that I keep telling myself that I'm going to buy and put there.
You don't need the TV.
I do.
We can hang them here, hang them there. I mean, you do have 4 walls in here. There are options.
I can bring the other shelf up too. The other bookshelf up and put the more in there. But yeah, I'm loving the DC Collectibles line. Now, I haven't picked up every one of them. I'm now that I have all Justice League and half of Justice League of America or Justice League United at this point. Now I'm getting picky.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. Is the articulation good? Like I didn't pick up the Black Adam. Didn't like the face.
Right.
Now I'm getting picky. The Earth 2 Batman, sad to say, outdoes the
Justice League.
The Justice League Batman.
Are you going to get
both awesome?
Are you going to get any of the Batman animated series 6-inch figures from DC Collectibles?
I don't know.
They're
pretty sweet.
Those I'm going to be picking up a few of those. And I was thinking today too, in talking about the Batman Beyond with the Mask of the Phantasm comic book series, I'm hoping that we see a 6-inch Mask of the Phantasm figure.
I think maybe Nightwing. Did we do a DC Collectibles Nightwing? I think we did, yeah, because the Teen Titans are out. Oh, no, he's not part of Nightwing. He's not part of Teen Titans.
I don't know.
I want to see a Nightwing.
I know that they did do a Nightwing for the Greg Capullo style Batman figures.
I think if I'm not going to, and this is something I just thought of now, if I'm going to buy these toys, action figures, and not open them, I might as well just start saving my money and start buying statues.
Hey, you could do that too.
What is it, the Kabuki?
Or God,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Kotobukiya.
Yeah, those are awesome statues.
Those are awesome statues. Sideshow has awesome statues.
I'm like, what's the sense? I might as well just save my money and buy those instead because I'm not opening these.
Right, you just appreciate the sculpting aesthetic.
And I think that might have been a marketing decision on DC's part because these boxes are great display pieces in themselves.
That has just been something that the toy industry has done years ago because as this was back in the 90s.
This is different than the shell case. I mean, all our 3 3/4 always had the clear shell case.
But I mean, case in point, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. Perfect for display. You don't have to take your toys out. And that's something that happened starting back in the 90s, where the toy companies recognized.
McFarlane maybe started that.
Who knows? But the toy companies recognized that the toy collectors were leaving their toys in the package, not taking them out. So
do you think that's why they also can justify the $22.99 because now collectors are buying them?
Right,
and not just
quote
the
unquote,
kids?
it's a collectible. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the DC Collectibles, the name of the company alone, implies that these are more collectibles than children's toys.
Before we get into our next segment, new comics. We just talked about collecting comics.
Yep.
What are we going to be doing in 20 years? The value from anything from the 90s up is probably going to be crap.
Right.
By the time we die. Can we say the same for these toys? Is the same amount, let's say our DC collectible line, we know that comics are mass producing so many. Could we say that same thing is happening with toys? Let's take the DC collectibles line. Now, if this was back in the 70s, do you think they would have made as many as they are now?
No.
Okay.
And that's it. They're definitely making more toys.
So the value is definitely not going to...
No, probably not. There are some toy lines, modern toy lines, that have appreciated in value, but
anything in particular?
Let's look at the modern Star Wars line. When it started back up in 1995, people started buying it up like crazy, myself included. and you can go on eBay and pay
Half price?
yeah, like you can pay like $1 per figure still in the package.
Okay.
They're essentially worthless, unfortunately.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say that all of the modern Star Wars era figures are worthless. There are some that are very sought after and do command
Right.
dollars.
There's always like one per case, like in every other.
Sometimes, yeah, and even like kind of like post 2000 figures they were coming out in 2007, 2008, 2009, and to today,
Mm-hmm.
there are some figures that still will go and command aftermarket
Mm-hmm.
value. Some Marvel Legends from Toy Biz, some of those figures.
How about those
are
Marvel
pretty
Legends
rare.
that never made it to the stores that we talked about weeks about? The Jean Grey and
Oh, right.
that line with the Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on some of those figures on eBay because I'm like, man, I'd love
Because
to
they made
get
it
that
to
Jean
online
Grey.
retailers, but they never made it to brick and mortar.
Right. So, like the Rocket Raccoon Build-A-Figure, I think I saw one of them going for $50. Of course, this was a couple of weeks ago, right after the movie came out.
Right.
So, fast forward 6 months, what's the price of that going to be? Not sure.
Well, you bring up another point. Could it be the movies and now, not even the movies, that's more of the reality TV shows? I'm going to say Pawn Stars. I'm going to say Toy Hunter. Comic Book Men does touch a little bit on toys, but not a lot.
Right.
But it's that knowledge that's out there that people see them, so everybody's going to put them up for sale.
Right.
It's just the, how do I want to say, everybody being exposed to this now. Is that driving the price down? Because now, I'll use Toy Hunter because it is just toys. And Jordan does a great job going to people's houses and stuff. Hopefully,
Right.
I'll meet him soon. I think in Baltimore or in New York City. I'm definitely going to make the time to chat with him really quick, or at least talk with him, even if it is off mic. Now people are like, oh my God, I'm going to go into my basement. And now all of a sudden we're seeing these toys pop up everywhere. Now possibly the first guy, let's say you pull out a toy that maybe there's 10 on eBay, and you're the first one to put it up.
Right.
Or there's no toy, but you're the first one to put up, and you can get $400 for it. All of a sudden, everybody else is thinking the same thing. Now it's $1.
Right.
Is that?
Right.
Do you think
the markets
that culture, the TV culture, and the acknowledging or knowledge of having these toys also driving the prices down?
Could be. I mean, that's even if the prices are being driven down. I don't know. But yeah, that runs the risk.
So these toys won't be worth anything.
Supply and demand.
Because I'm seeing even more and more, because these brings back to the pricing point, is not, I don't want to say kid friendly, it's not mom and dad friendly. That dark side's $100.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, little Billy's not getting that under the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Little Billy probably doesn't even know about
Little Billy doesn't even weigh as much as that dark side. But what I'm saying is, because of that price point, more people are doing what I'm doing by displaying them instead of giving them to their kids, I would assume.
Right.
So you're not getting your less broken ones, less loose ones.
Right.
It's almost that they are kind of making could they be killing the collector market in a way?
Yeah, but I mean, this has been going on for years. I mean, the DC Collectibles,
right.
DC Direct Market, DC Collectibles toy line has been going on for years.
But people are becoming more aware, I think, about trying to say. I mean, I'm not putting them in here. I'm not putting them in the box because I think they're going to be worth something.
Right.
I mean,
you just like displaying them.
I might get that dark side. I could sell it for maybe 150, maybe.
When?
If I'm lucky.
Right now?
No, not right now. Like in 10 years.
Oh, right. Yeah.
5 years maybe. Right now, no. I bet you I couldn't even get the $99
No,
for it.
you would not be able
But
to.
maybe in 10 years, it's not like it's going to be worth anything.
Right.
Now, mint and box, 20, 30 years, possibly, because
Right.
people might not, keep the box in great condition. As we know, the boxes are very important. It's almost like a catch-22. You raise the pricing because your collectors are up there, you mass produce, but the aftermarket sale or the resale just drops right off the shitter.
But again, I mean, that's not something that DC Collectibles has to worry about.
Correct.
They're like, we don't care what
we don't give a shit what you do after you bought it. We got our money.
It's not even that, like, we don't give a shit mentality, but it's like, we're
it's
making a product for you to collect, and here you are. And if you're thinking that this is going to pay my kid's college tuition,
maybe ACC for one quarter.
Yeah, right. This will buy you a book.
A book.
Yep.
A book.
Did you go to the depot today?
I did go to the depot today.
What did you get today?
Stuff.
Cool. Me too.
I made a special trip in the morning. I wasn't going to go down this morning, just because, I'm prepping for the cons coming up and everything else.
Right.
But Mr. Pusher hit me up the other day because he saw some of our images from Marvel Studios and Jarvis.
Thank you. I was wondering how he got that hat.
So I went down there special for him because he saw that there was a Deadpool item in one of those pictures. And wanted the limited edition, which is not for sale right now as of yet, and it may not be. That's always a cool thing about our Marvel items that we get through Marvel and Jarvis. Some of them don't go up for sale.
Right.
My Iron Man T-shirts that I got that were had tags on them from Japan, and what was it, like 5,000 yen or something?
Yeah.
Never made it into production. So whoever got those, fans and some friends, you'll never see those. Those are limited. They are official Marvel. They got the Marvel tag on them. I dropped off a Deadpool trucker hat.
Cool.
From I forgot what issue it is. Chris, if you could tell me what issue of Deadpool that image was from, that would be cool. But he was very interested in that, so I gave that to him. He was very thankful for that, and you have it right there. What issue is it?
Cable and Deadpool, issue 50.
Yes, it's sweet. It's sweet.
Very cool cover.
I'm not a fan of trucker hats, but that does look pretty cool. They did a good job of re-representing that, remaking that image on there.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So I gave that to our super pusher, Chris Kaminsky. So enjoy it, wear it with pride. I want to see a selfie.
Hope your tummy's feeling better, big guy.
But while I was there, of course, I had to pick up comics. Today, Bendis, Azarar, and Garcia, all new X-Men 31. Iceman on the cover, finally looking like a badass. But this looks like the past X-Men.
Yeah.
Iceman, not the current.
Snowman,
yeah,
Iceman.
Yeah, Snowman.
Oh, hang on, let me just sidebar real
Yeah,
quick. Marvel Legends, Toys R Us exclusive, all new X-Men box set. I think it's 5 figures. It's the all new X-Men from the Bendis run.
Yeah.
The figures box set, Toys R Us, $99.99. I was there the other day and they had it marked down to like $83.99. So that's less than $20 per figure, which is pretty good. Yeah. That's a really good price.
I still want to know what New York City, speaking of toys, what New York City exclusives are going to be. I'm waiting.
I want that Thanos engine.
Don't know if it's coming.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I talked to Jarvis this weekend, so I'm not really sure. But anyway, getting back into new comics. Amazing Spider-Man Learning to Crawl. 01.4. Really? What the hell
so it's
is that?
issue 1.4.
Yeah. Slot Perez Herring. Learning to Crawl Part 4. Very cool. Little backwards. Look who's on the cover. Can you see it?
Some alternate universe Spider-Man?
Spider-Man? I don't know. I don't think so.
Hypno Spider-Man?
Wasn't there a character back then in the 70s?
Who is this guy?
I don't know, but it's like I said, Amazing Spider-Man is one of my favorite titles. It does not beat All New X-Men. Sorry, Mr. Philip Broyles, but it's right up there.
I like the
classic art
style.
Yeah, very enjoyable. Next, we're going into the indie corner. Images, Black Science, Rick Remender, Matteo Scalera, and Dean White. Issue 8. If you're looking for a non-superhero book, obviously you can always go over to Image and pick up any of their ones pretty much, except for Invincible. They really corner the market on non-superhero books and do a great job with every one of their titles, so check them out. But Black Science is one of my favorites. Reality, dimensional travel, loving the new characters, some angst going on amongst team members. Once again, the style for me has always been, and I think, the covers always remind me of the old pocket novels from the 70s that my uncle used to buy, painted covers like Doc Savage, Man from Mars, John Carter, Man from Mars, all those kind of stuff. And that's the style of this book. So the interiors are amazing, but the storyline overall is great as well. Keeps you on the edge of your seat for every turn. Sad to say. I shouldn't say sad to say. Another indie corner book. Cowl, issue 4. I have yet to read issue 1, 2, and 3. I think it's because I don't have issue 1, and I don't remember if I got it.
Are you sure about that, or you're positive?
I know I didn't get first printing. I think it might be that I think I have issue 1 in the second printing, but it's been so busy, and I think I wanted with this title. I want to try an experiment and read them all at once,
right?
Instead of just each week, because I'm reading 7 to 8 titles a week. Like I said before, keeping up on it all. If you hear any, you forget. And too, when I'm trying to explain a book, all of a sudden Green Lantern is, fighting, Iron Man, and then and Aquaman just pushed a button and blew up another Earth that was supposed to go in this Earth, and then I'm like, what the hell is going on with Mockingbird and Huntress? So I'm gonna try that and see, because I'm not a big trade guy,
right?
But I'm gonna try that, so I'm gonna keep collecting. I do believe I have issue 1. It was in the second printing. Wow, this is definitely Indie Corner. Issue 3, Kirkman and Alzada, Outcast. Awesome, awesome freaking book, I tell you. Little suspense. If you know Kirkman, it's going to be a little horror. It's no zombie, but it is doing with the supernatural. The art reminds me of some early issues of Walking Dead. This is color, though, not black and white. Loving this book, too. Another indie book. Thank you to Mr. Mike Sands, the original the indie corner man himself. Put me on to doing some of these books, especially Black Science. Back in the mainstream, original Sin tie-in, Avengers 34. We finally see the face of Kang, and if you are familiar, it's not just Kang, but it's somebody you should know.
Oh yeah.
Iron Lad.
Wait, what'd you pick up?
Avengers 34.
Nice.
And it's Iron Lad. But it's Kang, and it's time travel, and he's finally
Captain America's. Iron Lad is young Kang.
Yep, and Captain America, by accidentally breaking the time gem in the beginning of Avengers, has been thrown through time to the future, and he is finally in this book met the end of the road. Ooh. And Kang is there to help him on his way and give him
greet him
and tell him exactly what really is going on, because Captain America is the last Avenger. Traveling pretty much. You do see Thor has passed away through the time stream. Hawkeye's passed away. Black Widow's passed away, and so is Hyperon. So Captain America is the last one from this time stream. I'm liking this book a lot better than New Avengers.
Right.
The story runs better. But once again, it gets confusing. You got one, like the New Avengers is dealing with incursions, and this one's time travel. I'm like, what the frig is going on? I mean,
like where are we with all these stories?
And I guess back to your original question, we circle back around collecting. Would it be better if I just waited and got these all in 6-issue volume 1 trades? Because you're confused each week. There's weeks that 3 Avengers book come out the same week. So you're reading them, and now your story. No, wait a minute. Why isn't Black Panther in Avengers?
Right.
I just read them in New Avengers. What the frig is going on? But I'm loving this storyline a little bit better. Not a little bit better. I'm loving the storyline a lot better than New Avengers. Hopefully we'll get an end of that story arc for the New Avengers.
Looking awesome.
Captain America, before we get into our picks for the week, kind of, as our good friend Comic Cat said, Captain Sucker Punch, seems to be a major focus again. And now I could be wrong, but seems to be a major focus in all the Avengers books and even his own title and some other titles. More so than usual. I'm wondering why the push. I mean, now what happens when we have Falcon as Captain America? What happens in these books? Is it the same time frame? What's going on here? But they're really pushing Cap again. Really pushing him hard. So, obviously it's probably a marketing strategy. The movies are out, whatever, but that's another thing that gets confusing. I mean, his solo book, now it's going to be Black Falcon. Now what are we going to do in the Avengers? Are we going to meet him over? Is this going to be part of Original Sin? What's going on? You have Thor as a lady. It was a woman Thor now. It just seems very confusing. A lot of it seems like the editors aren't watching what's going on. The editor, his main job is to make sure the character doesn't say this or doesn't act this way. Or dude, the editors is there an Avengers editor, or are they broken it down? Are they not communicating, or what's going on? It seems very confusing, and I'm wondering, listeners out there, if you guys feel the same way. I had mentioned before that the Avengers books were getting confusing. New Avengers, Avengers Arena, Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, and then you have your Cap solo book. I'd never found that way with X-Men, and I don't know why. Even if I saw Wolverine in 2 issues, I never got confused. I don't know if it's the writing style was different. Obviously, it's not Remender, it's whoever. I don't know. I never felt confused, even back in the late 90s, early 2000s, before I quit, that I ever got confused what was going on in those storylines. But with Avengers, it seems very confusing after a while. Maybe it's because I'm really delving into the stories a little more.
It's all the time travel.
Well, that too. It is. I mean, it's not only time travel; it's interdimensional travel. We're hopping from planets. The one good thing is now the planets are so close, so you don't need time travel or fast ships. You just you can literally jump off the Brooklyn Bridge and end up on the other planet's Brooklyn Bridge because it's so close. And side note, stupid thinking outside my. When these other Earths come, where's the other moon?
It's on the other side of the other Earth.
Is it? It's on the dark side of Earth. It's on the
Exactly.
dark side of Earth.
Yep.
Where's the other moons? I don't see them colliding into
They're
each other. We have one moon
They're just
on the other side.
Yep.
In Saratoga Springs to meet all your
Probably,
family.
that's right.
But anyway, picks, or do you have a pick for this week?
Picks this week. My pick this week. I'm going to pick Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. Issue number 32 came out today. James Roberts, Alex Milne. Still loving this book. Still so much fun. Intergalactic space romp. Think Firefly, Transformers. I've never even seen Firefly, but I can only imagine that's probably what some of you might think. Anyways, speaking of time travel, this current storyline, Megatron is the captain of the Lost Light. He's a good guy now, and obviously the other Autobots are having a problem with that. But unfortunately, their whole ship has just been disappearing chunks at a time, and has to do with some sort of a chronal time shift. So their ship is actually sort of lost in time and space.
And crashed on Avengers World.
And now they've found their ship in the future, and now they are, in this particular issue, they're going to be going on board and finding out exactly what happened. So fun read, having lots of fun. So that's my pick this week. Word.
Too much time travel going on in all these books.
But I love time travel.
You know how I could fix the Decepticons?
How?
You know how we could just get rid of them?
How?
I'm gonna write in Magneto.
There you go. Magneto's
boink, boink, and pretty much done. Flick, and you're all dead.
Crushes everybody like
How cool would that be as a crossover?
X-Men versus the Avengers.
How cool would that be?
Well, they did X-Men versus Avengers. X-Men versus Magneto versus the Decepticons.
They did do that?
2007, they did the Transformers versus New Avengers.
Right, but no Magneto.
I don't
think any Decepticon could survive that.
Who knows?
Or force them to go to non-metallic alloy.
Yeah, that's right.
But that'd be kind of cool crossover. I'd like to see that. Do IDW and Marvel play well?
I don't know. I don't think they've ever played together.
Okay.
Well, wait, 2007, that was IDW, so they did do the one crossover before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dark Horse Marvel? Probably not, no.
No, I don't think Dark Horse and Marvel. Yeah, right.
We're going to cross over Star Wars.
Yeah, but I can't think of a Marvel character ever showing up, not like Superman, Superman versus Alien or Batman versus Predator.
Yes, that's DC.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I can't think of any Marvel characters crossing over with Dark Horse.
They don't like playing well with others, do they?
Well, who knows about if they like playing well, but maybe just no projects
Not
came
Dark
around.
Horse, I'm just saying Marvel. But okay, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
My pick's going to be the Indie Corner pick, and it's going to be all 3 indie books.
Cool.
Indie in general. Thanks to Mike Sains again, for getting me onto the non-superhero books. And I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't know if I was in my 20s. If I was in my 20s now, if I would read these books, I'm not really sure.
Right.
It's the exposure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my superheroes. I love my capes and cowls by far. That's the majority of my collection. But these books, maybe it's the writing's gotten better. Maybe it's my exposure to Kirkman a little more with Walking Dead and seeing some of the other supernatural stuff that's going on. Black Science is a great example of just, I think it's a remembering of my childhood. But go over to Image. Check them out. Even Invincible is great, and they're $1 cheaper pretty much across the board than your two main, your big two. $2.99 instead of $3 or $4.99. Check them out. Outcast, Cowl, and Black Science. Out of the 3, I'd say get Outcast. It's only in issue 3 right now. You can definitely get it if you can't get issue 1, because I know issue 1 sold out. I'm sure there's second printings. If not, go to your trusty Comics Island app and grab it for $1.99 or $2 and get going if you can get issues 2 and 3 in print. It's an enjoyable read, and I'm sure fans will be surprised that I picked an indie book, or my pick was Indie Corner, or pick indie books in general, just for the fact of what I talked about in the beginning. So even I have put my foot in my mouth and accepted the fact that, it's not all just capes and cowls.
And there's more out there.
There's thongs and tiaras.
Maybe one day I'll get to a non-superhero comic book.
They're enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. I'm still always towards my capes and cowls. I mean, that's what I was brought up on.
Right.
And I love those. But there's a lot of great options out there, and Image is doing it great. So guys, check out Image for any of their titles. And obviously they do have the Invincible, which is your superhero. They have what happened to the other one I was collecting? It was like the pot smoking hero, and I forgot all about it. I collect so much, and it's crazy. I think
Black
I did
Science.
No, that's not Black Science.
Oh.
It was earlier issues. I think I issue 1 and 2. I mean, Lazarus I was collecting for a little bit, but I did drop that. But guys, check out Image if you're looking for non-superhero stuff. They do a great job. At the end of this, next week, Baltimore Con. I will be there with a friend of the family. And Unit 5, Skip Winter, and myself will have a booth in Baltimore. We will be chatting. We'll be live podcasting. There will be no podcast next Wednesday, guys. Womp, womp. Sorry.
What am I going to do?
I don't know. Go on an extra toy hunt. There will be no Wednesday IncCast, just for the fact that we're going to be doing a live podcast on Saturday.
You just leave me the equipment. I'll just take care of everything.
Yeah, and how am I going to do that when I have to have it in Baltimore?
No!
And you don't know how to turn anything on but except the laptop. I bet you could fudge it. I bet you could just this setup without the, because I have the
screw around.
I have the little setup right now.
Uh-huh.
I bet you just this little setup without the board, you could figure it out. I'd give you 45 minutes, and I bet you could at least get one mic and possibly a recording going.
That's cool.
You know,
so I'm
giving you props, Joe Nub, that you're not dumb. But we'll be at Baltimore next weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be live podcasting Saturday. I'll be walking the floor Friday and Sunday and Saturday. Possibly Comic Head might be there.
Cool.
I'm just shouting you out right now there, buddy. If you want to see Comic Head, tweet him at Real Comic Head. Tell him you want him at Baltimore. We're going to hopefully be chatting with some guests. They will see some pictures. And then the weekend right after that, podcast might be questionable. I have to see. Con season has finally started. I'm pulling a Mike and Ming and I Sell Comics routine now that they're all over the place and recording and filming. We might have to take a little hiatus as well. We'll be at Granite State Con Saturday and Sunday. I'll probably be leaving Friday, or if not Thursday night, and we'll be there Friday. A 2-day con, another great guest. Go check it out, granitestate.com, comic.com, comiccon.com, so all these Comic Cons.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have that San Diego con. I don't know about that, but anyway. Check us out then. It's 13th and 14th. Then we take a couple weeks off, and then the big boy, New York City.
New York City.
I will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Con starts Thursday, but I'm gonna go down and meet Jarvis, hang out, do my local Midtown run, my local haunts in downtown Manhattan, have some fun with that. We'll be live podcasting once again, and we'll have Joe Martino, Red Anvil Comics, and the penciler for Unit 5 will be signing with us on Saturday, I believe. Very Saturday cool. And Sunday. And definitely Brian, Comic Head for Aldo, will be with us, so you know there's going to be some oh shit shorts and some other fun stuff that Brian and I'll be doing then. So guys, if check us out. If not, you can't join us, you know you'll get a live FBI IncCast out of one of those days at each con. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is or the internet, see if we can do some video for you. But it's been really busy. So, guys, bear with us if we have no podcast next week. I'll come up with something special for you besides Saturday. We'll think of something. So, on that note, I got to start finishing up some designing and some promotional material for these cons. So, I got to go.
Word. Later, nerds.
Peace.